Hey, welcome back to Drive Time. I am your host, Craig Pasta Jardula, and we do it live, bringing you all the hot takes, headlines, and unfiltered opinions that matter most. Whether you're stuck in traffic, cruising to work, or just chilling at home, we want to hear from you. Today's topics are all about the big stories making waves, but we're not just here to talk at you. We want to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and your take on everything from the latest political debates to the everyday challenges we face. Remember, whether you're on the left, the right, or somewhere in between, we welcome all points of view. So grab that hands-free device, dial us up, and let's dive into the conversation. What's on your mind? It's Drive Time. Call in now.
What do you consider success, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know. And I'm talking about, what I'm thinking about is Mayor Mondami in New York, right? So there's a perception that he's a very successful person. There's a perception that he's an anti-Zionist. I mean, he surely didn't go to Israel like a lot of them. When I say a lot of them, all the candidates up there were, we're going to go to Israel. My first trip, going to go kiss the wall. Get next to Lionel Messi and just pucker up for the Zionist entity, right?
Yeah, you see that guy cheating with tape?
Who?
Messi.
What'd he do?
Fucking put for a free throw, dude. He'll pull off his fucking tape, throw it on the goddamn floor, and then rub his ball on it and shit.
I did not see that.
I saw that last night. I was like, ooh, what a little cheating fuck.
I mean, a lot of people know that Lionel Messi is, obviously a hardcore Zionist of sorts. He claims to be Catholics, but he's definitely capitulated and bent the knee to the Zionist entity. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is very much revered and liked because he's also a great player. A little bit older, I believe. He's like 41. But is also like pro-Palestine and whatnot. And there's always been those arguments of who's better. But because of their politics, I've always liked Cristiano Ronaldo a little bit better. There's, I think Spain plays Belgium today. Yesterday, the Frogs, Viva la France, beat Morocco. So there's no more African teams in the tournament. Only we have 7 teams. 6 of them are European and 1 lonely South American, but ex-champion Argentina. Listen, we're going to have to occupy some time and space today here on Drive Time, and I want to thank you all for joining us this morning. Andrew Ziegman is not going to be with us today. He's feeling under the weather, and unfortunately, he's not going to make it to the show. So we're going to have to do some stuff. Sleepy J is going to have to jump on in, have some conversations, but it seems like you're not on your Mountain Dew yet, are you, Sleepy J?
No.
You're still on your coffee, right?
Correct.
Where are my when my mango cheesecakes arrive, that will be a success. Fred, okay, so we'll waste a little time talking food. We like to start off the show. That's the way I warm up when I wake up, right? Miguel Santiago told me the other day, he's like, you're pretty good in the morning. Your head's working, you're on point. I'm like, yeah, I got to wake up a little bit beforehand, but I always think and talk about food to get the old noggin working. So with all these mangoes that are about to fall off, and a lot of, people who have mango trees for quite some time know what to do, Sleepy. They got to wait till almost the very end. But it's almost like when they fall on the ground, you can't leave them there that long. Birds will kind of grab at them, peck at them. I don't know what it is. It's when they hit the ground, maybe they split a little bit more. The lizards have fun. The ants have a lot more fun. So you got to get them right when they're about to fall or right when they fall on the ground. And that's about the time what's happening right now. When we're talking about mango trees. Right after 4th of July, around that time, is when the mangoes fall. Obviously, you get some before 4th of July so you can make those mango cheesecakes that I made. It's funny because I had a whole big cheesecake in my fridge, and I'm like, I got to do something with these. I got rid of the minis. But now with the new mangoes coming, I was like, all right, I can't continue to just do mango cheesecake all the time. I'll have half a Boca Raton constipated. I have to do something else. And somebody gave me an idea, and I've been looking into it. So listen, here's the next desserts, Sleepy. Mango creme brulee or mango flan. Those, I know. I was watching videos for like an hour yesterday, and that's when people go, what recipes do you follow? Do you like to follow? I like to look at like a video of like 6 or 7 different recipes and take a little bit from everything, right? Like, okay, I can dig that. my brain understands exactly why you put something in, why you put an ingredients, or the process usually understands. Baking, it's a little bit, okay, I know why I need a water bath in this one. I could usually pick some stuff up decently, but what I like to do is like, oh, I like that over there. Ooh, I like that over there. When it does come to baking, I kind of tend to look for a little simplicity, right? Not go too over the top, because I'm not a full-time baker. I'm more of a cook, right? You ain't got to measure shit. Just start throwing shit in there. That needs a more salt. That needs a more pepper. A Luigi. Bacon is like you have to have 2/3 of a cup of water, 1/3 of a cup of an egg white, 6/3 of an egg yolk, and so
It's more finicky too.
What's that?
Baking's more finicky in general.
It is. You gotta make sure you have enough. However, the cheesecake don't require like the exact amount of ingredients, right? Like I could put a little extra sour cream if I have like a little less if I'm out of cream or whatever, and I could use a splash of milk if I don't have heavy cream or whatever the case may be. But yes, we're going to be moving on to mango creme brulee and mango flan, So I want to grab some mangoes today that just fell off my friend's trees. If you're listening out there, I need more mangoes. I think I'm going to start with the flan first, because of my love for the Latin people. Even though I'm Italian and people are like, well,
I make pretty good flan, actually. I make okay.
You make pretty good what?
Flan.
Did we lose Sleepy J?
No.
So no, Andrew. No, Sleepy. I lost you. You make pretty good what?
Flan.
You do.
Yeah.
You've made them before.
I have.
Regular flan.
One of the few baking things I can make pretty well. Yeah.
Panna cotta. Ooh. Well, that's kind
of.
Yeah.
When I'd make flan, my ex's family would be like up on my doorstep.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to fly out to Illinois, get some mangoes, bring them over there, and let's Sleepy J make me some mango flan. Want to thank everybody for joining us nice and early to the show. Want to thank those who are watching on Rumble. Want to thank those who are watching on YouTube. There's nobody on Facebook that I can thank, but if you do watch on Facebook, I thank you too. I thank anybody who participates in the show. This is Early Bird Gets the Worm show, right? Like, so there's a lot of people like, hey, I heard you have a new show. I'm like, yeah, it's a morning show. They're like, well, I don't get up until 11. So, well, it looks like you're going to have to watch the reruns because we're kicking it from 8 to 10, Monday through Friday. This is episode 35, I believe, today, right? I think so. Yes. 7 full weeks, Sleepy. Next week will be a month, 2 months of shows. I'm moving next week, by the way, to the new location. So that's going to be interesting. We'll have to figure out the logistics. It might have to be a half show on Thursday. I don't know. I got to figure out what time. Rasputin Bill is taking the day off. He's home. Send him some chicken soup, matzo ball soup, whatever you guys want to send him. He's not feeling too well, so we want him to get better and stuff. He's got to be a dad first, so he needs to get himself healthy to be a dad. We were talking mango cheesecakes, mango creme brulee, mango flans, early thing to talk in the morning. My friend made a beautiful bolognese for my mom, and she had it yesterday. We did it with angel hair, which is not common. Usually when you go with a pasta like bolognese, you want to get like a big noodle, a thick noodle, so that the meat kind of can clump all around it. But this was imported angel hair from Italy, and my mother loves angel hair, and she just tore it apart. So that was nice. I don't know what plans you got for the weekend. That's the thing, too. My friend was over the other day. Johnny Tsunami came over and was like, man, your mom's still eating? I said, yeah, she's eating. So, it's when people stop eating is when you start to get nervous at an older age. That's when you start going, uh-oh, that person stopped eating. Let's, first reaction, first thing to do, go grab some marijuana, get them high. Keep them eating. You know what I'm saying? Right. Get them high. That's what cancer patients did for years. I remember when the doctor told my mother, like, hey, man, like when my grandma was sick and I was young, and this is when you say you're born to be a pothead, but they're like, hey, man, why don't you get your grandma, why don't you get your mother, told my mother, why don't you get your mother some marijuana? And my mom was like, she's against it. She's old school. Yeah, but, she's got to eat, and she's not getting hungry. This is the only thing we can, we can't prescribe it or anything, but it's one of the best things that will help. And it helped. So it extended a little time. My grandma got high. She ate a lot of salami and a lot of salami.
Bless her heart.
Right? She wasn't really, she goes, you're going to have pains from eating that. Like this, she'd eat the pepperoni and the salami and shit. But what we're going to do, at least she was eating. So, Mom eats still. So that's a good thing. I get to cook for her on a regular basis. It is tough seeing her the way she is, not being able to talk.
It's tough, man.
No sunglasses on today. How do I look?
You look good.
I look good.
You were more alert than I was this morning. So.
I have been getting a lot of sun here and there, doing the sun treatment. My legs are getting better. I'm 95% healed. It's going to be interesting. We want to talk about health. The United States health system, the American Western health system, is starting to, but has not paid attention to the gut for so long, right? It's like in India and all these other countries, they pay attention to the gut. In fact, a lot of their food have herbs and spices and whatnot that are really soothing to the gut, cut down on inflammation. We don't do that. We don't pay attention to that. And the source of our food is just shit. Terrible. The glyphosate,
chemicals, and
the glyphosate has killed us.
I mean, look at the processed food. They allow like industrial waste in our fucking food, dude. Like, what the fuck?
I know, right? Guys, if you want to call in, today's a great day to do it. 561-247-2721. It's 561-247-2721. Remember, we started this show to empower you out there so we can talk about the things that we want to talk about, not go and be forced to talk about the media narrative. And that's a quagmire of mine, right? Like, I got to go, do I have to talk about this shit again? How many times have I talked about this? Why are people even paying attention at this time? Dave from Melbourne, when he calls in, he had a little frustration when he called in. It's like, we got to start keeping our eyes on the prize. What's really going on? And that's tough sometimes because people, it's hard for them to wrap their brains around the fact that there are Satan worshiping pedophile bastards that are running this fucking place, but they are. Look who it is. Our producer extraordinaire, Gabrielle Freedom, ladies and gentlemen. Do we have a sound clap? Do we have an applause? Let's do it again. Ready? You ready? Get ready, Josh. You let me know when you're ready, and I'll say it. Ready? Is Josh even here? Did he walk away?
No, I'm right here.
All right, you ready for the Jeez.
I was making sure that was the right one.
In the middle of the thing? All right, ladies and gentlemen, our producer, Gabrielle Freedom. Now you're late on it. Let it go. Jesus. Thank you, Gabrielle. Thank you, Fred Edward. Thank you, Kim Shwari Kate. Thank you, Ty. Thank you so much to all these people jump in all the time. You guys are great. Is that Lauralee? The auspicious Snorky up nice and early. Kevin, I know I got some texts for you. I don't know where you're at in there. We were talking about Mondami, right? A dingo ate me, baby. Thank you to all. You guys are so friggin' awesome, and I appreciate it. The applause worked. Yeah, thank you, Fred. Appreciate that. Captain Obvious over here. Yeah, Mondami. Let's talk about that. Look, so getting back to what Dave was saying, keeping our eye on the prize, it doesn't make a difference. We can still start the dismantling from below. Levi from We the People has got some great ideas. The guy's on point. Matt is the one who kind of put us together. Matt Weinglass from The Homeless Left, who had his 200th show yesterday. Congratulations to him. I got to jump in for a little bit over there. It's always fun to do that. But, dismantling the system from below, right? I think it's going to take like this kind of like two-headed approach where we're going to have to understand what the bigger picture is. And it's going to be hard to understand exactly what the bigger picture is because those who are part of the bigger picture, we talk about this transhumanism agenda. And listen, I know people might go, goddamn Alex Jones bullshit. You got a tinfoil hat in your head. No, transhumanism exists. It does exist. And I've been saying for quite some time.
There's a whole ass party. I mean, come on. If it didn't exist, why would there be a party?
Yeah, I mean, but even still, I think it was the New York Times can't remember. Could be the New York Times or the law. I don't know who it is, but a major newspaper reported the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was practicing, they said, transhumanism in Zorro Ranch. And that's that kind of revelation of the method when he talks where they have to put it out there for you, right? But they count on people going back to their everyday hamster wheel, right? There's transhumanism going on by the elites that are running the world, and Bill Gates is, getting money from Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein has been working with the Mossad and the CIA for the behest of people. Bill Clinton was on his island, and they're calling the shots and stuff. But go back to your 9-to-5 fucking job and pay no attention. But that they count on that, and people do, because they are so consumed with just trying to pay the everyday bills and just survive, put food on the table. And if you have a child, holy shit, you don't live for yourself anymore. You live for that child. So it is tough, right? Because people do go back. But that's the beauty, I think, of this kind of like in and out system or this two-headed approach. And don't get me wrong, there were people who would make excuses for the Democratic Party. It's an in and out approach, Sleepy J. We got to go in and we got to change it from the inside, like we changed the mafia. No, that doesn't happen, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to.
I mean, it's a good example that Plattner dude, like that's the guy they like want to put up, and then like they just, the whole rape accusations and all that. It's like the people they do put up,
we lose you here and there.
Well, it's weird because like is it fucking up?
The nightmare, the Friday nightmare. No guests, no calls. My co-host keeps having technical difficulties.
I might need a new mic.
Yeah, you're gonna need something. What is going on with Graham Plattner that they're mentioning him? We talked about him a couple weeks ago on Controlled Opposition, which airs usually Thursdays here at Pasta to Go. It's also with Gloria Guillo and the professor Jeremy Kuzmarov. Technically, we can have a third professor here, so we'll have Professor Kevin Cash, Professor Snorky, and Professor Jeremy Kuzmarov from Uncontrolled Opposition. She had talked about this on the air, I think, before a lot of other people. I mean, I'm sure people were, because I don't watch every single show, and a lot of things aren't clipped, and you don't see things nowadays because the censorship is just it's good now. The machine, the AI, is completely blacking out where it needs to be blacked out. But Gloria Guillo, investigative journalist, talked about the fact that Graham Plattner is like this new face, but when you look under the hood, you see that it's more of the same bullshit. Now, they had this Palestinian girl who was anti-ICE, and she came in third, I think, in the primary, so she didn't make it. But she was once again the anti-ICE, pro-Palestinian, culture war critter. I'm going to run for Democrat. And as soon as she opened her mouth about Russia, Ukraine, you knew she was full of shit. If anybody's going to sit there and say, I fight for the sovereignty of the Ukrainian people, whatnot, then you're disregarding empire.
So I've got an odd observation.
Go ahead.
So yeah, all this shit came out about him, whatnot, like, and so now you've got newspapers putting articles out that, basically demonizing the whole like movement, trying to take over the like.
Sleeping.
They're trying to take over the Democratic Party, right? That's what these articles are saying. And so now you've got all these articles that are like we can't elect these progressives. We have to go back to our normal status quo Dems, basically. And I'm just like, oh, that's why they put him in there.
Well, that's sometimes that's that Streisand effect, right? Like where you're gonna say, oh, we can't take this guy, we can't take Mandami, and then you usher him in. And you've ushered in a Trojan horse because the guy is going to be loyal to the establishment at the end of the day. And when you hear their speaking points, their talking points when it comes to Russia, Ukraine, and like I said, if you are disregarding the current government in Ukraine as a proxy government from a color revolution thrusted by the United States with the CIA and whatnot, if you ignore that, you are then supporting imperialism, and you shouldn't be considered any part of the left if you disregard imperialism. If some wars are good for you but others aren't, you might be an imperialist. Remember, you might be a redneck, you might be an imperialist. You might be an imperialist.
I just find it funny.
If you say that Vladimir Putin is trying to recreate the whole Soviet Union, USSR, you might be an imperialist. Sorry, go ahead, Sleepy.
It's just weird to me that, like, you know, they get quote unquote some inroads. You know, they get a couple people into Congress or whatever, and now they're at the point where, like, okay, well, we got a bad seed, so we're gonna go ahead and demonize everyone that is on the actual left. It's just, I don't know. It seems planned to me. Seems fucking planned to me.
We got a lot of Trojan horses going on, and it's like our one of our regulars, Miss Joanna. Hello, Joanna. If you're there, wake up. Good morning. We love you, Joanna. When Joanna talked about, like, you know, the people that get in, and all of a sudden they turn, right? Like, we as a group have talked about this. Like, you know, what were they already going to turn before they got in there? Like, that's the big question with AOC. You can't convince me that AOC was a psyop to begin with, right? Like,
dude, her first vote. It was one of her first votes was to expand NATO.
Say that. No, Sleepy, she got in, and then they changed her. What's she gonna do? You gotta go along to get
first
along.
Vote. It was one of her first votes.
Yeah,
she was in there for like a week or two. Like, that's it. Like, it was that spelled it out for me, basically.
You know what got me, which was early, was one of our first hearings when they had the Google, when they had I forgot his name, but they had Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey. They had all the heads at the time, and this is early in her campaign, early in her her first administration,
Term.
her first congressional run. She went to speak at one of those hearings, and she did not speak like a person who was believed in freedom of speech. She joined in the same rhetoric as, like, the divisive rhetoric of, we have to censor the Republicans, and the Republicans have to censor the Democrats. That's the game they're playing right now. And right now there's a huge push to be like, oh my God, the communists are coming. Look at AOC, look at Mandami, look at Bernie. Those three people are not communists. They're not social.
Communists generally have to give the people something, and they don't give a shit. So they're not fucking.
They're all capitalists. They're all capitalists who are tied into big interest. The money that got Mandami elected, the PACs where it came from, and then his attitude, you can't run against Hakeem Jeffries, can't run against the leadership. That shows you right there. That's a Trojan horse. He's not affecting real change. And hopefully Kevin will call in, because what I think we're getting little crumbs on the periphery, right? That are just kind of floating out there and go, that's Pasta's mango flan. Did you taste the crust? No, you're not getting a big bite. You're just getting a little taste of it. You think it's mango flan, but it's really papaya.
Or shit. Fruit. It's a shit pie.
It's stank fruit shit. Shite, I say. But
fucking
now,
durian or something.
let's see. Do we bring up? Let me try to find the Graham Plattner. I'll look at my bookmarks real quick. I think I have the Graham Plattner talking about NATO, and talking about not NATO, but talking about Ukraine. Here it is. I do have it. Look at this. It was done by Nick Cruz. It only has 25,000 views. But this is how you tell that these guys are just Trojan horses. And no, there is no excuse to support Ukraine, to act like they were like some small, poor, they're fighting for their sovereignty. There are complications to those.
Just a note, they were the most corrupt nation in the EU, like, before the war popped up. So
yeah,
just saying. And this is not, this is like
with
reports.
A lot of American corruption, right? A lot of fucking.
Oh, even on their own, they've been a corrupt nation for a very long time. So, like,
definitely Western interests have been in there for quite some time. Carpetbagging, making money. Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's son, had a business there for a while. John Kerry.
Don't forget Burisma.
Well, everybody knows about Hunter Biden. Burisma. But now look at the Trumps, the kids invested into the war machine, it's just as corrupt right now, and they're out in the open about it. Listen to Graham Plattner. So this is going to tell you that he's not really a leftist progressive fighting for the people. He's just a Trojan horse to continue to push war and imperialism, the 1984 style. I mean, it's just terrible.
Respect international law consistently.
We don't.
I am a firm supporter of Ukraine's right to resist a Russian invasion.
The way it's even
You're all.
framed.
This guy's such a slap bitch.
Framed. One more time again. This dude is the guy who's like, oh, we got a guy who's an oyster farmer from Maine. He's got the mustache to prove it. This guy's been a CIA desk sitting there for a while getting fucking prepped for this job. They're ready to usher this guy in, and once he gets in, forget about it. He's not going to be turned once he gets in.
I heard he dropped out. I heard he dropped out.
Did he really?
Let me verify that.
Well, let's play this one more time.
Respect international law consistently. I am a firm supporter of Ukraine's right to resist a Russian invasion.
Yeah. Yeah, he dropped out. So
all right, let's bring it up. What do we got?
So yeah, let me find a good link here.
Look at him. He dropped out.
Yahoo works. Yeah, he dropped out, man. So like saying like, and of course he dropped out like, after the primary. So, it's probably going to be the Republican or whatever. So,
Anthony Imperio. He suspended his campaign yesterday.
It don't matter. The guy's full of shit anyway. He's got,
what allegations?
Nazi issues.
He had allegations?
Yeah, those just popped up.
What?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, man. So now you've got articles saying, we have a problem with the Democratic Party. We need to not let these people get in, basically. So they're just they're using it as an excuse to push status quo candidates now. So this just seems like a whole fucking plan.
Did he have his primary? Did he win his
primary? Yeah. I think so.
He won his primary, and now they have to pick somebody else. Okay. Send us something over, guys. Put it in the chat. We'll play it. Because he gave a massage.
I haven't looked into him a lot because I don't give a shit. But I hate politicians. The less of these fucks around, the better.
So, we're a little obsessed. Find me something from Michael Perio. Find me something for his... I want to see what he was accused of. It couldn't be just a massage. Was it really?
Let me find it.
Was it really just for a fucking massage? Waste of time talking about him.
No, this is I think that's
you got 2 friggin' hours. All right, so listen, I got this other thing up here doing while Sleepy is looking for something. You know what we're obsessed with over here at this drive time in the morning? Our freedoms.
I'm just trying to find a link that isn't fucking paywalled.
Deflocked.org. The map is growing, and so is the movement. Defend your Fourth Amendment rights. With Fourth Amendment rights, and we can bring on our resident lawyer at any time to talk about is no obsessive searches and seizures, unreasonable searches and seizures. But this says how the flock movement has been growing over the years. Let's take a look and look at the blue spot. The music, you gotta. Oh wait. Hello.
Ugh, that's frightening.
Look at that.
All right, I found something. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, look at that. By the way, hold on. Here, I'm going to put it right here.
That's nutty.
Look at that. Look, ladies and gentlemen, look at that. Get the flock out of here. Fred Edward has something too as well he put up. But look at that. That's the flock hammer situation. There's another video out there where a guy is telling the woman, hey, listen, we have flock cameras. We knew you were in the city from 11:02 and didn't return till 308. That's the shit we're talking about. You cannot leave that power out there unchecked. The ability to sit there and look at everybody at all times to know exactly where they're going, when they're going, and how they're going. That is ridiculous. You combine this now, and we have a thread that Sleepy J talked about. You combine this now with the personal data that they've been collecting on us. That's what Minnesota was a lot about, right? People was like, oh, God, ICE is going in there and terrorizing. Yes, they were terrorizing the immigrant community. They were terrorizing people of color, brown people, left and right. It was disgusting. People got killed, Alex Peretti. But what was not talked about enough was the fact that they were using software to pretty much map out and put people into the system, right? And that meant not immigrants. To find out where the bad guys are going, where the immigrants could be, you have to map out everybody else. So if you walk by any ICE agent or any ICE camera or whatever, the facial recognition was then imprinted in data into the software, and you would now put into the system. That's what this is all about.
All right, I just put a link in. I just put in a link for that Nova shit, which is what we're talking about.
Private chat for us.
Yeah,
The
platinum
flock
one's in there too.
The flock one, or no?
Yep, that's their site for it. Like they're not even hiding it.
Flock. Is it up?
Yeah, I
There
see
it
it.
is. All right.
So they're combining their flock data with personal data.
Yes. All your systems on one tab. Remember when Tulsi Gabbard told us a couple months ago, about a half a year ago, that maybe a year ago, but she told us that all these agencies are starting to work together to share all their information. They're getting on one database. That's just to plug in the systems because they're tracking who you are, what you do, where you go, where you spend your money. They're tracking where you're driving to, how fast you're driving there, when you're driving there. And then they're also tracking what you're also doing online. So now they have the complete digital imprint of yourself. They know where you're going, how you're going, and when you're going. And they're just they put this right out in front of us. This makes the whole theory that Dave from Melbourne talks about, the revelation of the method, where they need to tell you that because it absolves them of any accountability so they can just get away with it. Well, they're flocking up the whole fucking place. They're adding all the systems and the software together, all the data together. This is why we need data systems. So right now we have to, the two things that are immediate things that are right in front of us is we have to get all these flock cameras taken fucking down, and we have to get these data centers shut down before they open, because that's why
We need to shut down this fucking company. That company needs to fucking go away.
This company,
They're not. They're acting like a fucking intelligence agency.
Yeah. 70 tracking victims recovered. That's how
70. That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
That's how they sell it. Because of the flock cameras, we were able to stop an abducted child.
It's for the
And
children.
Stupid conservative Republican movement in this country that people go along with. Yeah, we got to be tough on crime. Yeah, the crime you got to be tough on is the people who are putting all these crime prevention systems into play. They're the ones who you got to fucking stop. The ones who own all these companies and have the software and the data and the geofencing. Ain't nobody going to touch them. They're untouchable. Don't know nobody go to jail for them when they commit crimes, but the little guy, right? They what is it? We have something out there, Josh, where somebody got many, many years for, I guess, putting over signs or putting bags or something over these flock cameras. Somebody did something to flock cameras.
I think they chopped them.
Yeah, they chopped down the sentence.
No, I think they chopped down the flock camera. I think that's
that what
the 18-year one. Yeah, I think so.
You got something ridiculous. We got to find all these stories, man. You can do these shows on just people on their flock cameras themselves. Why don't we get to the thread and bring the thread up? Can you control the thread from your side, and I'll just go along as you do it so I can pay attention?
Let me find it.
We have a Twitter thread, and the guy who does the Twitter thread, he's got an interesting website. He has whereami.org or something like that, where you can put your zip code in. It tells you who the congressional district representative is in your area, and all the population, who they ran against, what their positions are. Really interesting site. But Josh sent it to me yesterday. We'll pull it up.
Hey, shoot me the link in private chat. I don't have access to my Twitter on this account.
Oh my God, Sleepy.
Hey, I keep my Twitter away.
I am working here, and you're at the. I can't be doing 17 things at one time. So
I
here it
should have
is.
prepped better. I'm sorry.
Well, you got to get yourself complete access to be able to control these things, to get on your Twitter at all times. Why don't you have access to your Twitter on your computer? That is,
I have a separate user set up for this because my audio
I-
setup is so crazy. So I just
don't want
haven't
the
done it.
answer. I'm saying it. I'm not saying it to ask why. I'm saying it to told you.
I'll work on it. Here we go.
All right, you got it. It's in the private chat. Let's bring this
Yeah, I
up.
see it.
Guys, it's drive time in the morning. We want to thank you all for joining us. Andrew Ziegman will not be in today. He's not feeling too good. We'll get him next week, though, when he comes on back.
Dude, what
You
the
can
fuck?
call
You have
in.
to be logged. You have to be logged in to fucking view threads now. When the hell did that happen? Sorry,
Sleepy.
it keeps breaking up.
247-2721. 561-247-2721. Calling in. We were talking a little bit about Graham Plattner, flak cameras. Did we get something on Graham Plattner that we can pull up?
That first link I put in private chat was in there.
Okay, let me put that up while you're handling your bullshit. The very first link,
Yes, the Yahoo one.
sexual assault. Okay, let's see this, guys. Suspended his campaign yesterday, guys. We were talking about this guy for so long. About he is not the real deal, showing you that what he said about the Russia-Ukraine situation. I don't know what that is. No, I didn't want. What are you doing, Craig? I just fucked it up completely.
All right, I'm trying to get into my
Here it is.
Twitter.
Okay, so this is it right here. Go away.
There we go.
Graham Plattner accused of sexual assault as he cancels campaign events. Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Graham Plattner speaks during a primary election night watch party after winning the Democratic nomination on Tuesday, June 9th. So he won it a long time ago. Graham Plattner, the Democrat running in the main Senate race, looking to unseat incumbent Republican Susan Collins, is facing fresh sexual assault allegations. The allegations were hinted by the New York Times earlier this year in an article about Graham Plattner's history with women, when his former girlfriend, Jenny Rassicot, said he participated in reckless, unsettling behavior during the relationship over several years ago. She recently spoke with Politico, where she gave more details alleging Plattner forced himself on her with her consent when he was almost blackout drunk, without her consent, when he was almost blackout drunk in 2021. Plattner denies the allegations. Rassicot told Politico that she had an on and off relationship with Plattner for more than 2 years before he allegedly sexually assaulted her. Plattner has faced a series of issues throughout his campaign, described as a veteran, an oysterman, a working class candidate. Plattner earned attention and earned attention and followers when he announced as a candidate. Last year, several of Plattner's Reddit posts were released, including critical comments about women and members of the military. He described himself as a psychedelics talking socialist. Did I say that right? Okay. And also said sexual assault victims should take some responsibility for themselves. Plattner also had a Nazi-related tattoo on his chest, which he later covered up. He said he and fellow military members got them while serving abroad during a night of drinking. I got really drunk and got
Sounds like this guy has a drinking problem.
Yeah.
See the next egg, Seth?
Rassicot gave the outlet details about the assault after the aftermath. The outlet said she shared messages sent to a friend, her therapist, and boyfriend, with the most sent before Plattner announced his run for office. She said she considered going to the police, but struggled with shock and confusion about what happened and didn't want to file a report and have to detail the personal experience to the police. She also said she feared retaliation from Plattner. Rassicot said she was torn about coming forward with the accusations against Plattner because she agrees with him politically. I just want the truth out there. I just want people to have a whole scope of who the person is, she told Politico. Plattner denies the allegations, cancels campaign events. So these aren't allegations that are even proven, right? I don't think we don't know the details of them. Let's take a look at what Plattner
I
says right
wanted
here.
to directly address.
Let's see what he says. Can you see that? Did that come up? Plattner's pretty face. Look at it. Here we go. Let's take a listen.
Punchable face.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false. Over the last 10 months, I have been deeply humbled by the faith Mainers have put in me. You have welcomed me into your homes, into your places of work, into your restaurants, into your houses of worship. You have shown that a different kind of politics, one that puts the interests of people over corporations, is not just possible, but is inevitable. This movement we have built, the largest volunteer base in the history of Maine politics, the hundreds of thousands of grassroots donors, and the supporters across the ideological spectrum, we were united in a love of Maine, a belief that our politics must change, and a focus on defeating Susan Collins. So, regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict, we are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love, the movement I belong to, and the goal of defeating Susan Collins. Those were the goals when we launched this campaign, and they remain my goals today. On June 9th, 154,058 Mainers, the most in primary history, voted to reject a broken politics beholden to Washington and the donor class. They voted for hope, for change.
Yeah, we did that before,
back our
dickhead.
economy, to take back our power, and to take back our Senate seat.
Did he really say hope and
You
change?
never turned your back on me, and I will not turn my back on you now. Every one of you deserves to see that vision come to fruition and see Susan Collins defeated. And we will use every tool at our disposal to do so. As Maine goes, so goes the nation. As always, thank you.
Man, I hope he enjoys his shit sandwich he's about to be fed. Jesus
So he
Christ.
canceled
He
the
said
event?
hope and change, dude. Hope and change. He tried to fucking use that shit.
So he denied the allegations, right? He hasn't been arrested or charged or whatnot. I didn't see all the accusations. She said he tried to force himself, and I'm not downplaying it, but I'm wondering why they're so crazy that he has to retire. I mean, has to suspend his campaign, right?
That's why it probably has some weight.
Yeah, it probably's got something in it, right?
Otherwise, why the hell would you drop out? I mean, it's dumb.
So who picks the replacement? The
That I don't know.
Democrats.
The DNC
Potential
probably.
partner replacements neck and neck with Collins and Maine State Poll. All right. So then they'll have their fake election. Maine Beer Company co-founder Dan Kleben. I'm saying, whatever the case. But fuck. Screw that bullshit anyways. So bad.
Hold on a second. What is
What are you
this?
doing?
I'm putting this up. Why is
What
it-
you doing?
I was trying to put up this image of the tweet, of the flock one.
There
we go.
can you know how to make it big?
That's it. It's just an image.
All right, let me do this then. You just take it down. I got it. Is it up? My image.
Yes.
Here it is. See how big it is? So this is from John Borscheid, right? Want to hate Flock even more? They have a little-known public safety data platform called Nova, which combines their masked surveilled footage with your personal info from people search sites that are commonly used to dox and swat. That's it. That's dox and swat. Dox and SWAT is like duck and cover.
Duck and cover.
Dox and SWAT. But it even gets worse. When Flock Nova was announced, it was discovered by 404 Media and the EFF that Flock was also using personal info gathered from data breaches. Info gathered from data breaches. They are not only mass surveilling you, they are using illegally obtained data to build profiles until they are caught. Until they were caught. They were caught. All in all, I will not go quietly into the surveillance state, and you shouldn't either. And this is what this says. Flock cameras need to be banned from the United States. It's clear and obvious. Mass surveillance state. Orwellian shit. 1984, baby. In my small town alone, there are hundreds of them. Many pointed at preschools, parks, etc. They are clearly not just gathering license plate data. By the way, this guy he is a little bit, I looked at his stuff. He's got that, what's in, share this tab. What congressional district am I in? And then you add your zip code so you can put it in here. It's kind of cool that he has this. So I can put it right here, find my district, looking up your district. It says it could be either, you got to look at the map, but it says either District 22 or 23. I believe it is 23 because I looked at the map. Zionist-friendly Democrat Jared Moskowitz, commonly seen with Bill Maher pissing and shitting over all of Islam, but specifically Palestinians. Mr. Moskowitz is
what is it with people named Jared?
It's a common Jewish name, an American Jewish name, Jared.
All the Jareds I knew were not Jewish, and they were all pieces of shit.
Then it tells you who they ran against in the election. It tells you who the people are next door. You know what I'm saying, about the district. There's a really cool site that he's got. But I want to go back to him because his name John. Look at that beautiful smile. Borscheid. He is a Democrat, right? So this is all right. So this is what he said. Democrats expel sexual abusers from their ranks. Republicans rally behind and elevate them. We're not
laughs in Biden.
We're not the same. Where do you see laughs in Biden?
I just said that. You expel sexual abusers. They literally put him as the president.
Yeah, no shit, right? He was the
guy's on camera sniffing children. Like, what the fuck?
There's a reason washed up Nicki Minaj is the new MAGA mouthpiece. Look at her husband and brother, who her husband and brother are. But we're not the same.
Yeah, you are.
Once again, a guy playing lesser of two evils.
But I mean, that's fine. I don't expect perfection from people.
We can still come together and hate flock cameras.
Correct.
It's funny because when I was at the Capitol on January 6th, and before everything had gone really, really crazy, I was out there and I was looking around. I was like, all right, so this is going to be an unusual coalition, but we need these people. We need these people to push back against elections. And if it's going to make conservatives, who I disagree with on the border, who I disagree with a lot of their imperialistic fucking views and their ways, the way they justified it. If we don't do it, China's going to do it. No, they're not going to do it. They're not going to build a thousand bases. But we agreed on elections, so we can agree on some stuff. We agree that we have a caller on the line. Caller, who are you and where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Stacy from Houston.
Stacy! I was guessing it was Joanna,
yeah.
but instead I got another awesome female, kick-ass, drive-time female. How you doing, Stace?
I'm good. How are you doing? Hey, man, I wanted to talk about... Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. How you doing, Stacy?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Are you going dancing this weekend? You getting on the dance floor?
No, I'm gonna drive up to Austin this weekend. Do some interviews. I'm working on a project.
Nice.
I'm gonna interview some old punk rock musicians in Austin.
That's great. Are you into punk rock?
But hey, I'm into punk rock. I'm a chef. And I'm a documentarian. I'm do documentary videos.
That's awesome. That is awesome, Stacy.
But hey,
so
what I called to talk about was, kind of, it starts with, how easy it is to, and I don't know anything about this politician y'all are talking about that just dropped out of the race or whatever he's thinking about it. But it's so easy now to lob an accusation at somebody. And I wonder to the extent to which people bother to fight it. You know, just the accusation itself can be dangerous. But the bigger problem is the fact that we're voting on politicians in the first place. We should be voting on issues. That's what democracy is. We should be voting on whether or not we want flock cameras instead of people who are buy-offable to vote for us on our behalf, because they're never going to do what we want them to do. If we could vote directly, if we could have direct democracy, I don't want this. I don't want data centers. I never got to vote for that. I voted for some asshole to vote for me for that.
Yeah.
And here we spend most of our time in politics arguing whether or not these people are good people or bad people, whether they're eating children, raping girls, whatever, when it keeps us from arguing the policy. What do we fucking want?
Sleepy, is this your software or is this her?
I can hear her fine.
Yeah, it cut out for me for a while. Is it my internet?
Probably. Mine's
right.
Mine's fine.
Now, mine got cut out for a little bit. What I heard Stacey say is that we need to be voting for direct democracy. Like, when nobody voted for the data centers, nobody voted for the flock cameras. Instead, we voted for this asshole, and paying attention to the person's personal life rather than his policy positions. It was kind of interesting that you said that, Stacey, because the girl who made the accusation said, I stayed silent because I believed with him politically. You know what I'm saying? But once again, I don't know. It's our society. She felt compelled. Either she was pushed to, paid to, whatever. She felt compelled to say things, but he denies the accusations. If you're denying the accusations, then why are you dropping out? You know, if you are going to be a representative for the people and you're going to give them, you're going to say, listen, I'm representing Maine, but I want to represent the 158,000 people who voted for me, the majority of them. And obviously that is the pushback to your statement, Stacey, is that, yeah, you might be against data centers, but somebody else in my district might be for it. So then I have to make the decision for it. Go ahead.
The problem is that idea of representation to begin with. I mean, why is a community of people voting on somebody to make that decision for them when they could directly, very easily make that decision themselves? Data center? No data center. We go to the polls and we vote. We don't need some in-between asshole to decide for us.
Yeah. Because
the problem is representation to begin with.
I'm with Stacey on this, dude.
The problem is representation to begin with. You know, I mean, we vote for so many layers of so-called representation rather than voting directly on the issues. You know, I mean, there's democratic mechanisms, right? There's recalls. There's the thing where you sign a bunch of, there's mandates, voter mandates, where you mandate that an issue gets voted on. We don't do that here. We vote on people. We argue about people. We argue about whether or not they've done bad things, whether or not their policies, whether or not they're going to do what they say they're going to do. Instead of all that, what if we got rid of half the politicians? We don't need an electoral college. We don't need primaries. We don't need all of this stuff to decide how people's personalities are. Instead, we just vote on what we want, not who we want, what we want. Where do we want our money to go? Do we want to go to war or not? Because 80% of the shit that we want, we don't get. 80% of what 5 billionaires want, we get.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have more of a vote than we do. That's what representation is. Representation is just another way of saying you don't have a say.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't represent nobody.
Is there
that's
any
good for today?
No, Stace, but is there any accountability that needs to be put upon the people? The fact that they're not interested in what's going on, that they are consumed not only with just paying bills, putting food on the table, but a little bit consumed with like entertainment around them. There's a form of comfortability that Americans have where they can get into knowing where their favorite basketball player went to college, high school, and whatnot. And at the same time, I say this all the time, they don't know who their representation is. That's why I thought that Flock Guys channel.
What else can they? What else can they do? They have no say. No matter who they vote on, they get McCain. It doesn't matter who you vote for. They all turn out to be the same. They all vote for the same.
Are we hearing Stacey? Or is this just me that's freezing up?
It's just you
I
in
can
the
hear
in
you.
the chat. They're saying she sounds fine. So I think it's your internet.
So everybody else out there, did you guys hear her the whole thing? Or is it just me? Am I freezing up?
I think it's you freezing up. Fred said he could hear crystal clear. So my internet's been cooperating.
So it's me. My internet. This sucks. I'm gonna be out of this fucking place next week. This internet sucks. Stacy, I missed your whole last comment because my fucking internet. Excuse my French for cursing. My internet is just shit. This is what you get in Florida when you put these
I'm a
satellites
chef
on
too,
the.
so I like to cut. I like to cuss.
Yeah, but I,
Just,
my mama told me
just the
don't cuss
whole-
in front of a lady unless you have to. Like I had to, mama.
you work in a kitchen, you got to cuss.
Yeah, I know, right?
You just the whole thing is that we're relying on. It's about representation, right? We're voting on people to represent us. That's why we don't have a good conditions in the first place.
Yeah.
That's why people don't care to vote. I mean, what good does voting do? It doesn't do shit. It doesn't.
Yeah,
get us
they
what
still
we want.
they don't represent us.
So if you changed it to where I'm voting on Obama or McCain, instead I'm voting on whether or not to go to war. How much money am I putting to weapons? If I actually had a say, I would vote. You know what I mean? I mean, is it the people that don't vote because what does it matter?
That's where I'm at.
If you had a direct
for sure.
say in democracy, now it is tedious. It can be tedious, but I bet you more people would vote than less. People that vote don't vote in America today don't vote because why would they? What's the point?
Okay.
It doesn't change anything.
It's
That's where I'm
It's
at.
5 billionaires deciding our fate. We work for the mob.
Okay, but if we were to not necessarily vote on a piece of paper, but show our powers in the streets now, right, without the voting process, just show up, signs, pitchforks, the whole 9 yards, saying get rid of these flock cameras, participate in the system. You know what I'm saying? They want you to, opt out of the system and not pay attention to it and say it's so damn broke. So we don't necessarily, if we don't have to vote for Jared Moskowitz or anybody else he's running with, we should be able to show up and hound these motherfuckers and say, take these cameras down right
100%.
now. Right?
Right. Well, we should
got to
have
show
a
some
system of
interest in
voter
society
mandates.
to participate.
We should have a system of voter mandates in place where we can force something onto a ballot and vote on it. Right? I mean, we should have every county, every state in this country, in this world, should have a system where the people can get together and say, we want to put this on the ballot. We don't like this shit. And it can be all the way up to war. Right now, it's a pothole. It needs to be data centers. It needs to be war. It needs to be the new development on the coast. People need to be able to vote on what happens in their community.
Yeah, I mean, a prime example. So a prime example of this is the high-speed rail stuff in California, where I used to live, and that shit was passed so damn long ago, and they haven't done, and billions of dollars, they haven't built shit. Like, so,
what happened to that money, by the way?
Yeah, that's my point, though. She's got a good point. Where even when we do vote on things, the shit don't get done.
And they're ready to, and they're shot out to the mob.
If you had less corrupt entities in between our vote and what happens, it might be better.
It's certainly probably better than what we got going on now.
Well,
yeah,
I think we have to show up in numbers no matter what. So we have to vote with our voice, our pitchforks, our signs, our bullhorns. We need to get out there no matter what. So if the voting is not going to work, then we need to change these things. This flock camera situation, yeah, it's just ridiculous at this point now. They're just geofencing everything. We need to show up at our city councils. We need to get organized. So I don't know what the fuck we're going to do, Stace, but we got to do something right now.
We need a damn general strike, man.
This is getting bad.
I like the fact that you're focused. I like the fact that you're focused on the how. I'm focused on the what, and you want to know how, which is smart. Another piece of it, though, too, is the mind control. I mean, look at all the zombie movies. All the zombie movies tell you that as soon as society falls apart, we all start eating each other. Instead of telling you that we get organized and kill all the zombies together, I mean, which is probably what would actually happen.
Right.
It would take X number of years to get rid of all these zombies and manage the situation. But they got to tell you, no, it becomes, because people are programmed to let their leaders do all the work for them.
Yeah.
And all that programming is part of the deal too. You know, people believe that, you know, I mean, when they talk about government falling apart, they're like, oh, society falls apart. It's like, not necessarily. Not necessarily, you know. I mean, for the most part, people get together and start working together and start building ad hoc societies. This is how people work. But it's not Lord of the Flies. It's the actual story of what actually happened when a bunch of kids got on a desert island. They all survived. They all became lifelong friends. They all cooperated and worked together. It didn't happen like Lord of the Flies. That was the propaganda. What actually happened was people got together. They worked together. They built a community.
I think that's the lie of The Walking Dead, right? It's all about these different tribes of humans fighting each other. You know, that's what they said. Right. The whole message was society is going to break down, and there's going to be a vacuum for power, a power struggle. Who's going to be able to control and call the shots? They're going to, manipulate other people to fight and kill other people that don't necessarily need to be done. I do believe if it was a zombie apocalypse, you are right, Stace. Most people would come together and figure out, how do we get rid of all these zombies? How do we stop ourselves from turning into zombies? You know what I'm saying? Yada, yada, yada. I do believe when you do, this is the libertarian mindset, right? Where they want to remove the overreaching oligarchical kind of monopoly evilness that's controlling everything. I mean, their ways of doing it are kind of dumb and stupid, whatever. I mean, it's not going to happen naturally, unfortunately, but removing the evil entities and allowing just the humans to coexist with each other, that's where you can kind of push to, and I hope I'm not manipulating the conversation, but communes, living together, figuring out how to, collective societies. It almost seems like it's inevitable. We can't avoid it. But we should figure out how we can limit it. And because a person's the individualism, what do they call it? Individualism? What's the word?
Individualism.
Yes, thank you. Blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
Right. Well, there is something beautiful about a
we
person.
We call them lone wolves around here.
But you're an individual thinker, right? I mean,
here's the thing. When I have become more and more libertarian. The older I get, I do believe that the Federalist Papers are a lie. That was how they started getting us. Oh, true democracy. Oh, that's dangerous. But I've gone out and studied like the Zapatistas, and the way that they do it, they do direct democracy. They vote on issues, not people. It takes a long time, and each community is different. In one community, they don't drink alcohol. In another community, they do. They have different, wherever you are. And let's say you want a white supremacist community, go ahead. Go get yourself a white supremacist community. I don't personally want to live there. I'm not, I like diversity. So y'all go ahead and get one. The only rule, people got to be able to leave if they want to, But yeah, sure, form your own community. Do your own thing. Go for it. Yeah. You want to recreate, Zimbabwe in this plot of land that you bought, go for it. I don't really care,
Yeah.
Decentralization is really the key. If you've got a community that, it's decentralized. Most people are going to want a community
planning,
where,
right? But central planning,
they raise their kids, whatever.
I get that, but there are some areas in which central planning should be able to work. In other words, if we're going to build railroads to get people around and whatnot, that's got to be done by a central entity. Highways connecting together.
I mean, they privatized that a long time ago.
They privatized it so they domain, so they still can go. They still can say we can take the land, and then they hire private companies in which they can funnel their money into. But what I'm saying, to get things done, a central planning sometimes is necessary. Go ahead, Stacy.
100%. I mean, if you want to look at who's doing that, and China's doing that. China's the only country right now building high-speed rail. China is a great example of how to get things done, mobilize people.
Home ownership in China higher than the United States.
Home ownership,
business ownership,
not only that,
higher than the United States. So socialism and communism can work in certain factions. You just can't get too crazy and out of the way. Please continue. Sorry to interrupt, my dear.
Well, if you look at they also have a system of a similar system of. Now I'm sure everything that they do over there isn't great. I'd like to go visit, but they have a system of complaints there. It's almost like a ballot initiative system where if so many people complain about an issue in their town, it sort of goes up the chain. It's automatically goes up the chain, and the town council has to address it. So, for example, they did the whatever the credit rating system is that they had that people were all worried about. In China, they parsed that out to several different districts. And they said, y'all figure out different ways to do this. One of the districts started putting people's faces up on a billboard, and the people said, oh, hell no. Yeah. And so they stopped that. And since then, so that's like, they have a different system to do that. But they've got that communist mindset. So when they want to mobilize people in China, the mindset is already there to mobilize people. They could do that here, but they want to kill us all, so they choose a different route.
They just want us divided.
Here in America, we play chess. In China, they play Go. Go is about building people together, and the more people you have in your group, the more you're likely to win. And in chess, the lone wolf survivor is the winner, so it's just a different mindset.
Did you ever see, let me see if I can find it real quickly, the Chinese kids bouncing the balls together? I don't know if you ever saw it. And they were talking about, the way they teach a society how to work together, right? Let me see if I can find it right now. And it's like, they say this is what they're doing in China. I remember the first time I saw it, somebody was like saying, we're fucked because the Chinese work so good together. They're bouncing the ball together. They pass it on to the next kid. Like I said, the algorithms that used to be very, very true for TikTok, which were not owned by Chinese, were owned by a Singaporean at one point before they were forced to sell.
Right.
They would kind of highlight and lift up and celebrate engineers. Sorry, go ahead.
I said they're all the same. I was making a joke.
I know you're going to sound like freaking Senator Tom Cotton, who kept on asking the guy, are you Chinese? And he kept on saying, I'm Singaporean, man. I thought he was going to say, what do you think? We all just look alike? I mean, it was just.
What did Trump call it? The Republic of Japan?
Yes, who sent these missiles. Well, oh my God. It's Chinese kids bouncing ball together. Let's see if I can find it. I can't find it. But it's just the way they're taught, and they're part of a community, part of the society. What a lot of people don't talk about is what you were kind of mentioning too as well. The way they work. There's a lot of wins on the local level in China, which people don't talk about. A lot of people like to talk about the Chinese Communist government and the overarching security state. There are a lot of victories on the local level there, and they did eradicate extreme poverty. They built all these towns, and at one point they were ghost towns, but they started moving people into them, right? They were able to find means and ways to get people to move into them. Now, some people said they did that to kind of boost their GDP to the world, to show that they can engineer and build all these towns. But now these towns are being occupied. People are going into them. They're no longer ghost towns. So it's like they had the living quarters ready before the economy had caught up. And once again, I'm only saying from secondhand information I have. I'd like to go there myself. Maybe we can go there, Stacy. We can start a GoFundMe. We can go there and shoot a little documentary. And we'll, as long as we can highlight the food there.
Yeah.
The Chinese street food.
That
as
means
long as you're down.
We got to go to, listen, I've already mapped it out. Beijing for Peking duck. Then we got to go Szechuan for Szechuan food, and then Hunan. But, it's a big, beautiful country.
We got to get over the Xinjiang, though. We have to get where the Uyghurs live, because that's the work that Cynthia McKinney and Don DeBar did. They showed there's Uyghurs who own business, whatnot, and everything. Like, it's, it's so
100%.
stupid. Yeah, it's like, look.
I like asking
sure.
people.
Good.
I like asking people whenever they tell me they're not brain controlled. I like saying, really, how many people died in the Uyghur genocide? Google it.
Yeah.
And they Google it, and not one person died. It's like, that's a hell of a genocide where nobody died.
they were showing they let the BBC inside one of their camps, or supposedly one of their, and the Uyghurs went home for the weekend before they came back. I'm like, that's not a fucking that's not a concentration camp. They went on trains and went home to their towns for the weekend to go back. And what were they doing? They were and when they were in the camps, they were teaching them how to speak Mandarin, right? Saying, look, if you want to be plugged into Chinese society, you need to speak Mandarin. They were showing them different forms of arts and crafts and whatnot, and trying to expand their mind. I mean, they were saying it was a re-education concentration camp, a re-education camp. But when you had all these separatists that, the Uyghurs were the ones who ran the Stinger missiles to the Mujahideen during the Afghan Operation Mongoose thing. I think it was Operation Mongoose. You hear? I ordered some coffee.
Those people were our enemies. We've got Uyghurs in Guantanamo Bay still. And look at how we treated
Syria
people.
Too. Yeah,
absolutely. And the Chinese didn't want them back. Look at how we treat our prisoners, and look at how they treated the Uyghurs. If you actually know how they told them, listen, we're going to build a bunch of roads through your property here, and it's going to give you guys a lot of opportunity for, financial investment. You need to open a restaurant right here on this corner, and so they did. And that's what they're teaching them. And they're like, we're bringing you economic opportunity. You take it or leave it. And it was
a problem, created by the West again. Once again, when they were using the Mujahideen to kill Russians, they were using Uyghurs, right, to smuggling weapons and missiles and Stinger missiles. So this a radical group that was funded by, once again, the West, the CIA. They do this shit all over the place all the 100%. Time, and people want to act like they can reform. You can't reform the fucking CIA. It needs to be abolished. Please don't kill me. I'm not feeling suicidal.
Hell yeah.
Maybe we're going to talk more about this, Stacey.
Maybe that's what's coming.
We got to set up a GoFundMe.
To China.
Send me and Stacey to document China. We'll come back. We'll film. We need a few bucks to go. We just need somebody. We need to hire one more person to come with us. That's going to do some editing and put stuff out there. What? Do you do your own editing too, Stacey?
I do my own editing. I have my own basement and my own Cheetos.
A Stacey of all trades, not a jack of all trades, a Stacey of all trades.
Well, I quit. I had to quit cooking to go into editing. I owned a restaurant and I did all that stuff. You can't do both.
It's people can't you stand it when people are like, oh, I'm a filmmaker, I do this and that, and then you eat your food for like dinner, like, oh my God, this is amazing, you should open up a restaurant, and you just shake your head and you go, do you know what it's like to own a freaking restaurant? You're married to it. People tell me that all the time, and I'm like, I'm not owning a fucking restaurant. It's too much goddamn work.
No, I can't tell you how many weddings and funerals I missed, how many of my loved ones dying, I mean, people, it's a horrible, horrible life existence, unless you're opening a McDonald's, I mean, if you want to open a good quality restaurant, that's going to be your whole life,
Yeah.
If people aren't having birthdays at your restaurant, you're missing their birthday.
Isn't there that movie with Bradley Cooper out there where he meets somebody to get him a job, and he meets him at a Burger King? You haven't seen that one?
Yeah, I don't watch shit.
That's where that's where the money is. The money is in pretty encasings, cheap food, relatively high prices. That's how you make money in a restaurant.
Terrible. It's terrible.
You serve pasta, you serve pizza, you serve stuff that's cheap, and you serve it at inflated price. I mean, you got to pay people. I mean, people need jobs. You can't open a restaurant that's going to be open for 8 years, and I mean, there's economics to the thing.
Yeah.
You can't let a restaurant be a passion project unless you're a bajillionaire.
Yeah, and the prep time it takes to make healthy, clean food is just it's just so much time to prep the food. When the McDonald's and Burger King and all these other companies, they're not really real food. They're sent it in packaging, and you just got to pretty much reheat it. So, but you know what, real quickly, Stacey, I know you got to get out of here, but what about this whole the rules that have changed since COVID, where you have this Facebook market, whatnot, and they're letting you do stuff out of your house and all these things? Have you explored any of that stuff? Because I'm thinking about grabbing a smoker and on Fridays or Saturdays or something, make like a smoked brisket, fried rice or some stuff, and just sell that. Facebook Marketplace, something fun. I don't know. Have you seen a lot of that stuff? Because that helps with get a lot of the red tape.
I've looked into it. My idea after coming back from Mexico is to just do orange juice. Just get a bicycle and with a cooler and an orange juice squeezer and just go out there and sell orange juice to like parades and stuff. But the honest, I know how things actually work in people's actual brains, and if I want to focus on editing, I got to focus on editing, and I can't go back to food. I got to go forward, not backwards.
But
and you yourself,
you're
good at what you're doing. I understand we're both like switching from food to media, but you got to go forward, man.
No, I'm there too, but I like your idea, like every once in a while, because I was thinking with all these mangoes, if I could go like once or twice a week to a farmer's market, make a few bucks, and then go back to doing the news guy, I could do that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Keep my eyes and ears open.
Definitely make some cheesecakes. The cheesecakes go for like $120 right now. Cheesecake's not hard to put together. You could sell cheesecakes on Facebook Marketplace easy.
All right, so Stacy's covered what she's done in Austin.
Or do some Italian regional thing that people do for holidays.
Yeah.
You got a cake that people. It's like that cake's hard to get. I need that for my sister's birthday. You got the cake. You're the guy that makes that cake.
Stacy, where can we see some of your work? Where can we see some of your work, though? Do you have anything out that people can look at right now? Can we go to a website? Can we go to a Facebook?
Yeah, I got a YouTube page called Abroad from Houston.
Abroad from Houston?
I'm abroad from Houston.
I love it.
Abroad from Houston. And I'm working on some punk rock documentaries right now about the Austin punk scene. Check them out.
My friend would love that.
Yeah. So I'm finishing up interviews. I should be finished with like parts 2 and 3 at the beginning of next year.
I'm looking for Abroad from Houston. I don't see it. So maybe you can put it in the chat.
It's all one word. It's all one word. Abroad from Houston on YouTube.
Okay. I'm going to look it up. Stacy, thank you so much for calling in, especially on this Friday when everybody is like not around and letting me down. You lifted me up, and I can't wait to taste. I got it. Abroad from Houston. It's over there, guys. Go check it out. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Thank you so much, Stacy. You have a great weekend. Thank you for calling in.
You too.
And thank you for your opinions out there.
Love
Direct democracy, Stacy says. Fuck these assholes.
Hell yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Bye.
You there.
Love you, Pasta. Smell you later.
I mean, she got a good point. She got good points, man. Like I'd probably vote if like I felt it would actually matter. That's a good point.
Yeah, but they don't want you to vote. They want you to opt
Well,
out.
of course they don't.
So there's different, like the inside out strategy we talked about. You can do work on the outside. You can do work on the inside. It's as long as you stick to your principles, I think you're okay. I'm not going to rag on you. If you people, do we have another caller or is that gone?
Snorky.
Hey, Professor from Iowa. What are you doing, pal?
I'm just sitting here enjoying a Friday. I was going to call in about explosive diarrhea, but maybe we can put that on hold for a minute. You brought up the high-speed trains. Where are they? Well,
wait. Are you talking about high-speed diarrhea or high-speed trains? Because I just see that in New York, there's like 28 people who got high-speed diarrhea. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so it's going back to the trains. So maglevs. They're really expensive to operate because of the amount of copper that they need to make them operate. And it seemed like every spot of the way there was ways for people to make money off the high-speed trains without getting the high-speed trains done. And everything that you do to provide something to someone at an affordable price, you're cutting off some other trail of getting something really expensive. Now, there's this organization in California called the Lawrence Livermore National Labs, and I needed to do something, and I went to them for help, and they had a division there, and I found out they were also working on high-speed trains. They had a high-speed train that was really good at not needing as much copper. And in fact, the type of magnet motor system they use, we didn't even cover in any almost no engineering school in the United States or across the world even covers. It's called diamagnetic levitation. And it's not as power hungry as the normal maglevs. And it would have been extremely fast. And since it didn't use so much copper, it would have stolen profits away from anybody that's trying to sell maglev. And maglev is like we want to do maglev. Everybody's immediately going for it without even considering is that the best way to go. So this other method was extremely good, uses a material that we can grow instead of the copper. And by growing, I mean they need to make pyrolytic carbon, but that's something that we can do. And then it's been over 30 years since they came up with the idea. It's been trashed all around that long. But now we have better ways of doing it. And it's still be a great way to go back. And for the high-speed trains, we want as little as possible of the energy being transmitted. So believe it or not, the best one for high-speed maglevs, not maglevs, but diamagnetic levs, is diesel fuel. So you could put 6,000 gallons on it and have it go the same range as a regular train, but it would go at hundreds of miles an hour. And it's be a very safe way to go. But again, like I said, major lab. This wasn't an experimental garage. In fact, if you look up Lawrence Livermore Labs, it's
a complex. I used to drive by there all the time going to work.
Yeah, it's I don't even know the word I would say for it, but it's like one of the major national labs of whatever they're working on. And so that was out. And like I said, if I take away the copper, I'm taking away all kinds of income for people running for Congress. That somebody that needs copper is going to make donations to their and it is a stream of taking money away from people if you actually use this diamagnetic levitation. And it was actually Ronald Reagan who made this kind of more open to the public. We didn't talk about it much. And because of one of the other things that Lawrence Livermore did research for, they had to become experts at the diamagnetic levitation. Now, we got to talk about explosive diarrhea. Now, it's cyclosporidia. And
I wanted to make one comment though, real quick about. Can I make a comment
Sure.
about the fact that it's just, I think though, what you just talked about, and with Stacy, the previous caller too as well, we just talked about there. So what you're presenting is from a professor's point of view, what is most logical, which is more practical, resource-wise, what we can do. Doesn't it really suck that all the work you do half the time, Snorky, just gets thrown out of the fucking window, not paid attention to, never kind of, followed through with, just because of the fucking bureaucracy we are dealing with? Like, it doesn't even seem motive. Like, yeah, the profit motive leading into the bureaucracy, just so therefore fucking people can make a dime rather than do what's best for the public. I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to bitch about that. Thank you. Go on the diarrhea.
No, and it is. So right now the Midwest is being hit by a cyclospora parasite, and it's being transmitted on stuff like lettuce. So places that are using lettuce are just getting devastated. And Illinois and Wisconsin, starting into Michigan, and it's starting to get into Iowa. And it's hitting fast, and it's like you don't even want to pick up anything in there. It takes 2 weeks of being outside the body for it to grow. So things like vegetables that are being transmitted a long way. So if they're being picked in California and then driven to the Midwest. That's about how long it takes for to become dangerous. So if you grow it yourself and you immediately cook it, you're fine. But it's when it's stored in a large batch with water that's been rinsed with other stuff that has it. That's when it picks up. The German.
Real quick. Can we play a video really quickly, and then you can just jump right in, Snorky?
Sure.
It's all right. So let's see what they're saying. This is on CBS News. Professor Snorky is going to give us a little insight, but let's see what the mainstream media is saying. I know some people were talking about explosive diarrhea. What's this guy talking about? He's calling about the drive time in the morning to talk about his bowel movement? No. What he's talking about is that there's an outbreak, okay? Nearly 1,300 people in Michigan have been diagnosed with a parasitic infection that can cause weeks of watery diarrhea, making it the largest such outbreak in state history. They always knew the Americans were full of shit. Now it's all coming out. Cyclopsoriasis. Did I say it right? Stems.
Close.
Cyclodiarrhea stems from consuming fruits and vegetables that were exposed to feces-contaminated irrigation water, and it can be difficult to protect yourself from it. CBS News, Asar Kwarsari has more on the steps you can take to save yourself from explosive diarrhea caused by cyclosporia, whatever it is, as health officials investigate one of the nation's largest outbreak in years. Let's take a quick look. This is 2 minutes, and then we have Professor Snorky here from Drive Time, guys, all the way to help the show out or down below. Call on in. We still got 34 minutes of show. 561-247-2721. Here is the explosive diarrhea reported by CBS News.
Explosive diarrhea is spreading. And if you haven't heard by now, you will. This outbreak has gotten a lot worse. What started as about 150 cases in southeastern Michigan has exploded to nearly 1,300, making it the largest outbreak in the state's history. About 40 people have been hospitalized. And it's not just Michigan anymore. Investigators are now tracking similar illness clusters in more than 24 other states. New York has been hit hard with dozens sickened. Illinois has its own growing cluster, and just across Michigan's border in Ohio, hundreds more have gotten sick. Now, let's talk more about washing your produce, because there's important nuance here. Yes, keep washing everything, but it's worth understanding what washing can and cannot do against this particular parasite. The FDA puts it plainly: rinsing or washing food is not likely to remove Cyclospora. The parasite has a tough outer shell that clings to tiny crevices on fresh produce, and it can resist water and even chemical sanitizers. The only thing that reliably kills it is heat. Cooking, not rinsing. So why do health officials still tell us to wash produce? Well, because it reduces risk. It just doesn't eliminate it. Think of washing as one layer of protection, not a guarantee. A top CDC official says these investigations can take months and sometimes never pin down an exact source. The parasite can't even be grown in a lab, which makes tracing it back to one farm or supplier incredibly hard. Now, past outbreaks have been linked to things like raspberries, cilantro, basil, and bagged salad greens. Here's something our colleague Dr. Celine Gounder has been digging into. She reports that the FDA quietly suspended a quality control program last year that checks whether its own labs can accurately detect contaminants in food, including the test for spotting Cyclospora on produce like spinach. The reason? Staffing cuts. And that pause stretched right through last year's cyclosporiasis season. Dr. Gounder also found there's no federal rule requiring growers to test their produce or water for this parasite at all. When she asked the FDA directly whether that lab check is running again this summer, the agency didn't say. So here's the updated advice. Wash your produce, yes. Scrub firm items like melons and cucumbers with a clean brush. Refrigerate anything cut or peeled as soon as possible. But if you want true peace of mind with high-risk produce this summer, cook it. And if you've got watery diarrhea that won't quit, don't wait it out. See a doctor and ask specifically for Cyclospora testing. It's not usually life-threatening, and it is treatable. This outbreak isn't slowing down. Neither should your guard. Explosive.
Neither is your bowel system ain't slowing down either, man. It's running. There's an old saying, faster than shit through a tin horn. Professor, does does baking soda and vinegar help with this whole situation? I didn't mention that because that's how I watch the majority of my produce. And I do eat a lot of raw vegetables. I eat a lot of hummus. I eat a lot of like nut dips, that bitchin' nut dip. Usually with broccoli, usually with carrots, usually with celery, usually with cucumbers. But I do clean my vegetables with baking soda and vinegar. Is that a good thing?
I'm not sure. like you said, most of the sanitizers are not. My first thought was vodka, but I'm not really sure. I think we need to use different terminology than explosive diarrhea, though. I prefer the German term for it, which is Flitzekacke.
Can you spell that, please, for the audience?
Flitzekacke. Sorry, my German pronunciation is really
Flipsazaka.
Fucking Germans, man.
You're yelling in a loud Gestapo voice. Flipsazaka.
Yeah.
Man, I can hear my great grandparents saying it. It'd be funny.
There's so many things going on. There's the Hydra colliders that you talked about, and you mentioned to me that yesterday on the other day on WBAI, I was able to mention that because I put it up on the show, and Professor Snorky was able to correct the record, or at least lead me in the right direction to say there are many Hydra colliders out there, not just the
Particle collider.
Yeah. What do you call it?
It's a particle collider.
Colliders, whatever.
And of course, nobody mentions my favorite example was in Chicago, Fermilab. They've got one to tell if it's getting dangerous. They have a huge flock, a bunch of bison, and if the bison start dying, that means they've got a problem. And so that's, before CERN, that was the big one. But
I hope the fact that
probably many that.
Yeah, they should be putting flock cameras in the
many we don't know about.
They should be putting flock cameras in the Hydra collider, so if they open up a portal, we can see what's in it, and then we can data mine it, so we can see these interdimensional beings.
Well, but that's so we recently had a bunch of Europeans here. And they took back a lot of ranch dressing and stuff.
Really?
And a lot of ranch had to be made real fast, and there's quality problems, and there's massive ranch recalls right now.
What the
Which
hell?
could also cause Flitzekacke.
I'm using
Friday,
that term.
That's why we reserve Friday. That's why I would have Andrew Zigman on the show for this, so we could talk about Flipsakaka.
He would love that.
We got to spell that out. Somebody spell that out in the chat so we have that, because I didn't get the last part, the CZKA Flipsakaka. I want to make sure I look it up. On the Hydra colliders, I don't even think I'm saying them right. The colliders, whatever they are. When it comes to CERN, we've heard people like Catherine Austin Fitz talk about, David Icke, about interdimensional beings jumping in and out of portals and stuff. What is the whole thing? What is CERN trying to accomplish? And thank you so much. He put it in the chat. We love you, Snorky. What are they trying to accomplish with CERN? And what exactly are they doing? Can you lay that out for us, Professor?
This was only informal. Now, if you had some kind of company that you had access to that could bore large holes deep in the ground and nobody could notice, you could be doing all kinds of research into events that happen in very minute particles. And when particles collide at high velocities, they produce other particles and effects. By doing it in a controlled fashion, this allows for you to figure out new things to do. Personally, I view, and again, this is personal, this is not professional, I viewed CERN as just an alternative to make sure that the United States doesn't always find everything new first.
Really? So the colliders that we have, and how do you say it? Is it because Ty put it up? Hadron colliders, hadron. How do you say it?
Hadron, and a hadron is a group of little subatomic particles that make another subatomic particle group. So most of the time, most of us don't deal in hadrons. So hadrons are when we start talking about, they're like the level down past an atom, where you can start saying, putting these different particles together form a neutron. These different hadron groups and stuff form this. And it's no matter what we do, we keep finding other layers as we get going on down. And so, but again, like I said, I really, really strongly doubt that CERN is the big one.
So it said the mission statement of CERN, though, from 2019 was to punch through the dark dimensions and commune with the entities there, communicate with the entities there. I mean, you've seen some of their
don't they have a weird statue there or something too?
They got a bunch of weird rituals, statues, the whole 9 yards. It's really, really freaky. And now that Professor's telling me that's not even the big one, what the fudge is going on?
Well, I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a bigger one somewhere.
And they're splitting atoms and particles and trying to open up dimensions and portals and stuff. Do you think it's really possible, or do you think it's just a bunch of noise, Snorky, about opening dimensions?
By when we say opening dimensions, I don't always think of it as walking through a doorway to a different place, but as a shortcut to go from one part of the universe to another. Okay. One of the purposes of that type of research was for communications. It takes a long time for different particles to be able to move, and by doing some of this research, they were researching when items. I'm trying to keep this simplified, so. Sometimes particles can be in sync when they're not beside each other. And they give you a wonderful way to communicate at a distance. And that is more likely what we had. But again, earlier stuff we did, when we started, even transistors were a side effect of trying to start to do research at that kind of level. So we've got all kinds of stuff happening at that subatomic level that we've really only have less than 8 decades of experience with.
So keep practicing and testing it out. It's unfortunate the people who are taking the information and what they're really trying to do are very nefarious. Snorky, anything else before we get John out of here?
No, I think I've given you guys enough nightmares for the night.
Man, I hope I don't get no flitzakaka.
Hopefully we won't get the flitzakaka. I want to put that on the shirt.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye later. The German word for diarrhea, flitzakaka. Put it back up. Can you put it back up by any chance, the name again, so people can see it out there? Guys, it's drive time in the morning.
Got another call coming in.
We do have 22 minutes. I bet you it's
professor.
Tied. It's the other professor? Professor on top of a professor?
Yes.
2 professors back to back. Yes. Kevin, what's going on, buddy? Do you have flitzakaka?
Sorry? I got 2 housekeeping things really, really quick. One of them is, of course, everybody should donate to the show. I did it through Patreon. The other thing is,
thank you.
There's a prompt that when you call, like you hear this waiting music, but it says, you can put it on hold and then you can hear what's going on. And of course I did that, but then I got paranoid because I'm going back and forth on my phone. I'm a 20th century man with a 21st century phone. And then all I was hearing was music. So I kind of lost it. So if anybody's calling in and you get that hold thing, just hold on, because this way at least you can hear the conversation. I heard about the in Minnesota, correct? The outbreak of massive Yeah.
Oh, it's
Listen,
Michigan or Wisconsin or
Michigan.
Michigan.
Wisconsin. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Michigan. But it
Can
did
I ask
spread,
a
it did
question?
spread in
You
that
know,
area.
is that water is that privatized, or is that a public works?
Well, from what I understood, it was from vegetables being imported in. So I don't know if it was coming in from California or where it was, or so.
So it wasn't the drinking water.
I don't think so. I think it was. They said it was the parasites that were in. It was in contaminated water that were growing on vegetables, but I don't know exactly where it came from. So I haven't followed the diarrhea.
Yeah, the news
followed
report
the
said
diarrhea
that.
story from where it began.
Well, that video you posted, it seemed to indicate that it's hard to like track down where the hell it came from.
Yeah,
like originally.
But is it? How is it
I
spreading?
think it's
Yeah, I don't know about that.
How's it spreading?
Me?
Is it just vegetables from a certain area that was contaminated?
Yeah.
Can't they find the source of the vegetables and stop it?
Listen, I mean, I think part of the, it's part of the wonders of, when you see people who come from the second world or the third world, and they come here and they go to a Costco or they go to a Stop and Shop, and they see the variety of things that aren't in season, and you can still buy them. What they don't realize, and like Americans don't realize, is that, well, these things were put on trucks where they were in season, and God knows how they were being irrigated. They could have been being irrigated with sewer water. I hope I'm on topic, because I came in late. I'm sorry. My daughter was swimming this morning. That's why I said she got text so early today. But you were talking about the other day some of the other things too, and I looked up my I was in the chemical corps, and my Latin is bad since I got thrown out of Catholic school many years ago. But our motto used to be petroleum. Anyway, it was victory through the use of the elements, and that was from World War I. So I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but I know we were talking last week a little bit about the hurricanes and volcanoes or earthquake, which I think is a little far-fetched, but that's just where that's at. I'm sorry for coming in late on the conversation.
Don't worry about it. I thought you were going to talk about the Graham Plattner stuff too as well. I was kind of curious about your position on that.
Yeah,
I
think that's ridiculous, man. I mean, Graham Plattner, I have a brother who lives in Maine. I'm not a Maine guy, so I don't pay a lot of attention to Maine. New York City, center of the universe, just like Texas. We have that in common. What do you call it? But this guy, I was watching Newsmax, and they said, and there was a guy defending him and saying, well, you got a president who's, a felon on multiple things. They were like, well, he was never convicted of sexual assault. Well, neither was this guy, was he?
No, he wasn't even arrested. There's not a case out. There's just accusations, and I don't. From what we saw in the accusations, was like the dude was drunk and he was coming at me. He didn't get me. He was just blackout drunk. He was with me for They had a relationship on and off for 2 years, so it's kind of like, okay, so let this work out in the courts. And if the guy is convicted of something or charged and convicted, then it's a whole different story. But right now, and the Democrats seem to do this to people who are more like anti-establishment people. What's his name? Had to resign. Remember the comedian from Minnesota?
Oh my God, yeah, Tom. From Saturday Night Live. Yeah. I mean, and that was clearly Al Franken. I mean, he was clearly joking on camera, doing it like. I mean, he even put on the face like, "Hey, look what I'm." I mean, it was. I mean, it was a little immature. What I mean? It was like what a college. Like when somebody passes out and they put they put lipstick on them and eyelashes, whatever, or they do what it.
But
They
the
do things
hypocrisy,
that
though,
are,
right? The hypocrisy. Listen, you could say it was a dick move. She was asleep and you fucked with her, all this stuff. But they sit there and
right,
protect the person who stayed and went to Epstein Island and the Clintons, but yet they force Al
right.
Franken to resign. Now they did the same thing to Graham Plattner. Now, I don't know if they co-opt the conversation or what this is meant for. I wasn't a Graham Plattner guy. I played his video of him talking about Russia, Ukraine. To me, if you are going to support that, you're not rejecting imperialism, and you need to reject imperialism. And some wars are good and some are bad. It doesn't just buy it from me. The majority of the wars that we start are the majority of the wars we start, and we have to digress from that. But, I mean, the fact that the Democratic Party keeps doing this, I don't know why they're doing this or why people are resigning. I mean, I looked at his accusations. Maybe there's something that's coming out, Josh said, but that is ridiculous, Professor Kev.
Yeah. I mean, I used to believe that it was, you were innocent until proven guilty. I mean, I'm not saying, don't take these accusations seriously, but, we've come to a point now. I mean, Jesus, when Gary Hart was running he was just in the primary for president, and they had a picture of him with somebody who wasn't his wife on a yacht, and that just scuttled his whole, scuttled his whole political career. So, there's definitely some massive hypocrisy there. I didn't follow the guy enough. I don't know what, as far as Ukraine, what he was defending the war in Ukraine, or he was
he was once
and trying to say we need that international law should be followed. I'm like, we don't even follow it ourselves. What are you talking about?
Right, exactly. We're the biggest terrorists. Exactly, on the terrorist state on the planet. But we've got another one running right behind us. But look, I mean, all these guys, if you listen to Mearsheimer and stuff, they were saying way back in 2014, this is exactly what's going to happen. And if you listen to Claire Daly, now that's going to be a name that's going to be unfamiliar to a lot of people.
Nah, I love Claire Daly.
We know who Claire Daly is over here, pal.
Yeah.
We know who she lost her seat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she did.
Yeah.
But she was saying in 2018, that we were going to that Israel was going to pull us into this war in Iran. And I mean, it's really something if you look at it. And it's very similar with Mearsheimer. And it's like, they don't want to listen to these guys, they don't. It's really amazing, and even the generals in the Pentagon who said, look, you've got no Iran has a plan, because they've been planning it for ever since they were considered part of the axis of evil. We're going to have to do this to defend ourselves. We went in with a movie script, it's going to be that woman's movie about getting bin Laden and the whole Maduro thing, all high on that. I really don't get how. And the head of JSOC, right? He got fired because he was telling Trump what he didn't want to hear. And I know one of your favorite people, Tulsi Gabbard, who was the head of intelligence, which means all those alphabet soup, NSA, CIA, DIA, OIA, etc. She was the one that was getting all the information and briefing the president personally. And she said that Iran was not looking for a nuclear weapon, was not close to it because there was a fatwa against it. And he said, "Well, if you remember, I can't remember his exact words. He goes, I use a higher authority than you." Well, who would that be? If you're not listening to your head of intelligence.
I remember him saying like something about he got it from felt it in his bones or some stupid shit.
Yeah, no, he got it from Netanyahu and that group. I think. I mean,
At least Bill Clinton had the nerves and the stones to come on national television and tell us that it was Jesus Christ who told him in his prayers to go bomb Belgrade. At least he has the decency to do that. And that's what I appreciate about Bill Clinton, that he can say he prayed upon it and God told him to go and kill a bunch of Serbians.
Yeah.
Come on.
And, as a side, Cy Hirsch actually congratulated Bill Clinton, right? Do you remember? And he said, "Oh, you're the first American president that, bombed white people in 30 years," or something like that. You weren't just bombing brown people in third world countries. You waited until Yugoslavia, which was a stable country.
And by the way, I still make the argument that a lot of leftists in America, the whatever you want to call them, synthetic left, yada, 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 they are okay with the bombing of Ukraine, bombing Russia with NATO weapons and the kids in the Donbass and yada, yada, yada. They don't care as much because it's a bunch of white people, right?
A lot
and
of them
according
are,
to the establishment, they're not white enough to be white. I don't know. It's a fucked up situation over there.
Nobody I know is. I mean, not that I'm in tune with anybody, but I mean, nobody wants. Look, Ukraine is, first of all, it's not part of the United Nations. It's not part of NATO. Which, look, they blew their chance. They were corrupt as hell, and they blew their chance. I think that, I mean, I know hindsight is 20/20, but if they really wanted to just deal with everybody and just kind of open up, they should have done a Switzerland 15 years ago and just said, you know what, we're going to declare ourselves a neutral country and we're gonna just deal with everybody, and probably all of this would have been avoided. This is my uneducated opinion on that.
They wanted that war. They didn't. This wasn't a war by chance or anything else. They pushed that war. The CIA, working for the oligarchs and the deep state, they knew exactly what they were doing. They wanted that war. They've said it. They've bragged about it. They've talked about it. They even said Minsk 1 and Minsk 2 was all about delaying. This is what Angela Merkel said. It was all about creating space and time so NATO can get those militaries trained up in the Ukraine that they were training. NATO armies were, NATO specialists were helping train an army, NATO bases, NATO weapons. I mean, this thing was meant to happen. And you could tell it was meant to happen because even the guy who kind of, and this is the thing, when people say we're going to mitigate damage, and you're like, when I say you can't vote for the lesser of evils anymore, I do have a little space to forgive people who said I supported Donald Trump because, yes, we know he was awful with foreign policy and he was going to be bad when it came to Israel. He was funded. But they were willing to turn a blind eye on that, at least to end one war. And they thought that this guy who said, I'm going to end it in 24 hours, and it did look like, Biden was the aggressor. Let's not forget about Biden being the front man in Ukraine for many years. When people want to talk about Biden, he was the front man in Ukraine for many years, pushing all that shit. He was the point guy. When Victoria Nuland says we need to get an attaboy from Joe Biden, she was not fucking lying. They wanted this war. They pushed this war. They did this war. And the fact that Donald Trump can't even end it shows you, right? Right? People said, oh, I'm going to end it in 24 hours. They were like, well, listen, if he ends that war, that's enough to vote for him in itself. He didn't do it.
He said it would have ended before it began if he was in the
Yeah. Well, he was part of funding it too. He was funding the Azov battalion and that government for years. He even said, I gave you stingers, right? Not stingers. What did he call those? What were the stingers? They were called something else. It was the same type of way, except it was handheld missiles to kill tanks.
All that. Yeah.
Whatever.
All that
he gave
stuff.
them that. He weaponized them.
Yeah. No, they're equally culpable. I mean, there's really no question about it. You were talking about Clinton. I mean, now there's a guy that, domestically was probably in many ways even worse than Trump. With NAFTA and overturning Glass-Steagall, and really, really set this country on a course of destruction internally. No, I mean, listen, I'm a New Yorker. I'm 58 years old. I've been aware of Donald Trump since I'm a teenager. The same way I've been aware of Al Sharpton since I'm a teenager. They're both hucksters. They're con men and they're charlatans. And when Dr. Cornel West was the one who really, really got the heavy lifting done, getting Obama elected, what did Obama do? He turned around and thanked and made Al Sharpton a kingmaker. Like it's almost like we have this self-destructive gene in us, and it's not in us. It's not in the people. It's not the people of Ukraine's fault. It's not the people of Russia's fault. It's not the people. It's these governments that are just, they're criminal in nature. It's the gangster nature of capitalism.
It's hard to argue that imperialism and capitalism seem to go hand in hand, and they also go hand in hand with racism. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Professor.
Well, racism.
Get on out of here.
For sure, racism. Yeah, I know you got to go. Listen, racism has a lot to do with it. Okay, you can't deny that. As somebody told me, it was a sister, it was a female black woman years ago. She said, if you look at capitalism like the sun, she said, the sun's a good thing, but black people are more immune to, say, like some of the skin cancers that white people are, right? It's like it's just the reverse with capitalism. It's like it's going to affect everybody, but it's going to affect them, meaning the darker skinned people, much more. And you can see that you don't have to go back very far. Just look at the struggles in Northern Ireland, and there were two people who were they were the same people.
Yeah.
They were the same people. Just one was loyal to the crown and one was loyal to nationalism. And they were killing each other and it's Catholic against Protestant. It had nothing to do with Catholic against Protestant. It had to do with it national, with people wanting self-determination and people wanting to stay with the empire. But I've stayed on too long. Thank you so much, brother.
Kev, you're awesome. You can stay on as long as you want. We appreciate you calling in. That is the professor. He went on over to Patreon to help out the show. Thank you so much. It's always great talking to him, whether it be on WBAI or over here. Make sure that we get his number logged in into our database over there. Our database. That's not like flock cameras over here. Fucking crying out loud. We want to make sure that
it's just a spreadsheet.
Well, we're not sharing your information. We're not. But we want to make sure that we build a community of some sorts, and we want to be able to reach out and touch you and get in touch with you and stuff. So thank you so much, you guys, all the callers who call in and make the show what it is. Today we miss Andrew Ziegman, but we will have him back next Friday. Hopefully he'll be better. He's an amazing guy, an amazing father. We love him. He really adds to the show. So he'll be back next Friday. Let's hope. If we don't have a show next Friday, he'll have the show. He'll run the show while I do the move and get all set up. I want to thank Sleepy J, who's always been amazing. This is 35 shows. He's not only been a great co-host and engineer, but he's been a great friend. We've been able to reach out and talk to each other, text each other. We've kind of reunited our friendship. So I'm very appreciative of that with you, Josh, too, as well. It is. It's pretty fun. I want to thank Gabrielle Freedom, Fred Edward, always hanging out in the chats, and all the other great other people there, too, as well, being amazing producers. But, Gabrielle, I can't thank you enough for your energy, your attitude, your push, your support, your volunteer work. I mean, it's just you're doing this for a higher cause. And I love the fight you have in you. And Fred, man, It was great hanging out with you in Third Eye and hanging on out and meeting you in person. I love you. I love your bird. So please continue, guys, to help on out. Continue to join on in. Continue to follow. Continue to watch. Continue to share. Let's continue to build this from the ground up. Thank you so much. Let's do the closing monologue, and we'll be back on Monday. Monday we might have a couple guests. We might have Alex Strenger, who's a conservative right-wing Zionist of sorts, but he's a comedian. I met him at the Cause Festival years ago. He lives in Austin. He's a friend. I love him, and hopefully he'll be on the show Monday. Tiffany Cianci's also supposed to be here. She's part of the MAGA movement, the Maha movement, not MAGA movement, Maha movement. She's doing Freedom Fest this week, so we got that going on. But she'll probably be back here hopefully on Monday. So Monday we'll have a couple guests to join on in, talk about Maha, talk about Israel, talk about Iran, talk about the whole 9 yards, talk about whatever you want, because this show is all about putting and empowering the people.
Or Flitzakaka.
Like what?
Or Flitzakaka.
Flitzakaka. That's the new word. Wow. As we wrap up today's show, let's take a moment to reflect on the importance of diversity of thought and the peace we can cultivate with our neighbors. In a world that often feels divided, it's our differences that can actually bring us together. Every unique perspective, every story shared enriches our collective experience and fosters understanding. Remember, it's okay to disagree. It's how we handle those disagreements that truly matter. Let's embrace dialogue over debate, compassion over conflict. When we listen to one another, we open the door to meaningful relationships. By engaging with our diverse communities, we can find common ground and build bridges that promote peace. So I encourage you to reach out to someone with a different viewpoint, share a meal, have a conversation, or just simply listen. Let's create a ripple effect of kindness and understanding in our neighborhoods and beyond. Thank you for tuning in today. Remember, together we can celebrate our diversity and pave the way for a more brighter, more peaceful future. So until next time, keep the dialogue flowing and the peace growing. I love you all, and I'll see you next week. Thank you for building this with us. This has been amazing. I am truly enlightened and blessed to be doing so, and I love you all. Peace. See you next week.